So when we say that something is a cold cold or a hot cold, it's not actually a temperature that we're referring to. Oriental medicine, Chinese medicine, works with series of opposites, right? Full and empty, hot and cold, right? And those have been translated into English with words we're familiar with. Those words no longer mean exactly that. So what we're asking ourselves here is, the viral infection that I have, is it causing my body to respond by getting a lot of heat in the body, or is it causing my body to respond by being cool in my body? In both situations, we can be running a fever. Again, these are not temperature words. So what would the person whose body is producing a lot of immune system heat to get rid of the virus look like? The cheeks are red. The tongue is red. Stick your tongues out at each other. Anybody have a red tongue tonight? Somebody has a pale tongue. Did I hear a pale tongue? Hers is pale, yes? There's a pale tongue. That's a cold tongue. All right? My tongue is usually pretty red, huh? Red tonight? I tend to be hotter rather than colder. So start looking at your tongue so that you can say, this is what my tongue looks like when I'm healthy. Oh, this is what my tongue looks like when my body is overcooling. This is what it looks like when it's overheating. So tongue red, overheating, cheeks red, overheating. The person who is running a fever and overheating is doing what? They are running around outside naked in the snow because they're overheating. And they're pulling their clothes off. Ever had a fever and you don't want to be in bed and all you want to do is like drink ice water and go outside?
God, those are my hot flashes.
Oh, exactly, overheating, the body's overheating. Whereas the person who's overcooling, even if they have a fever of 100, 101, they want to be in bed, they want hot water bottles, more blankets, more blankets, more blankets. They want to be in the hot shower. They're like, right? Used to be called the ague, right? Yeah, the chill, that deep chill. That's an overcooling cold, even if there's fever. Their face is pale, their tongue is pale. When we are overheating, the fluids in the body stay in the body, right? We may be running a fever, but we're not sweating. And there's not a lot of fluid coming out of the body. The urine tends to be more concentrated and darker in color. Right? The bowel movements slow down. They become harder and drier. Overcooling, again, is the opposite, right? We're overcooling, we're running a fever, fluid is coming out of us, we're sweating. We have to get up and urinate every hour, every half hour. We think, where is it all coming from? The bowels loosen up, to some people to the point of diarrhea. Right? Both can be occurring with a viral infection, whether it's a cold or a flu. So what we want to do is to make a judgment. Am I overheating right now? Am I overcooling right now? And do the opposite thing. If we're overheating, we're going to bring cool to that. If we're overcooling, we're going to bring heat to it. What is important here is to follow it along. Because think of a balance pan, a scale with a balance pan, right? There's a stick and a pivot in the center, and then two pans. And so we have a known weight here, and we're going to put something here. Well, it's going to start going like this, right? So we say, oh, well, I'm overcooling. I'm going to bring some heat in. It's going to do this way, and then you're going to become overheating. And then you have to bring cool in. Up, then you're going to overcool. But each time, it'll be less extreme, right? Until finally it comes to that place that we call health. I'm reminded of an Oriental herbalist who had prescribed some herbs for a patient in a Chinese hospital and was not getting the response that should have been occurring. And so went down to the pharmacy, because there's big herbal pharmacies in the Chinese hospitals, and said, are you preparing this? Are you, doing this herb and this herb? Yes, yes, yes. And what it turned out was that the pharmacist was preparing this remedy late in the day because this patient was chronic, had a chronic problem, not some acute thing. And do everything at once. And the condition was actually changing enough from the morning to the afternoon that the herbal formula wasn't correct anymore by the afternoon. So especially when we're using Oriental concepts, we want to be aware that we're not talking about fixity, we're talking about something that's fluid and moving. And this is fluid and moving in us. Even that horrible flu that I had, where I was crawling into the barn, I was over that in 3 days. Right? Following overheating, overcooling. So let's talk about some of the things that we could do. If we're overheating, we want to cool. This is actually your kind of ordinary American diet, is a pretty diet that pushes the body toward an overheating response to problems. And so to cool, we would use citrus fruits. We would drink orange juice. We would take vitamin C. These are some of the kind of normal things that people would think about doing. We might use something that would reduce the fever, but not necessarily, again, remembering that neither bacteria nor viruses can reproduce at temperatures 100 or above. So the primary reason that you run a fever is to prevent viral reproduction. Although there are herbs that can reduce fever, like elderflower, yarrow, mint, and so on, generally we don't want to reduce that fever. If we're overcooling, then we want to bring in heat, right? So we'd want miso soup. We'd want baked squash. Even if you make chicken soup and you cool the chicken soup down, it's still considered a heating food because it's been cooked for a long time. Raw food is cooling. Cooked food is warming, and the longer it's cooked, the more warming it is. Again, these terms don't mean temperature. So a cold baked potato is still warming because it's had a lot of heat put into it. So the overcooling cold, which you get especially throughout Middle Europe, the classic remedy for that is chicken soup. Chicken soup, right? That's the classic Middle European cold remedy. You give the person chicken soup. We need to warm them up. We need to get some deep heat into them. They've been eating a diet that predisposes their body to overcool when they get a cold or a flu. Is this making some sense to you? The spices of winter are warming spices, aren't they? Ginger and cinnamon and cloves. Right? These warm us up. The things that cool us would be things in the mint family. Your bergamos, right? Your peppermints. So kind of follow that cold or that flu and choose your remedies. One of the remedies that most people talk about when it comes to cold and flus is echinacea, and echinacea is considered neutral.